Hey team, I'm Josh. On this channel we've looked at a lot of soundbars that are big, expensive and designed to replace a home theatre system. In this video we'll be looking at three much smaller smart soundbars from JBL, Sonos and Bose that are far cheaper but still give you a lot of the same features as their larger counterparts. Let's get into it. At the time of filming, the Bose Smart Soundbar 300 retails for $449, Sonos Beam Gen 1 is $429, and JBL Bar 5.0 is $349. Check the links below for up-to-date prices. Sonos has just announced the Gen 2 version of the Beam, which improves on a very successful product and brings it up to 2021 soundbar standards. I haven't got my hands on one yet, but most of the things I say in this video will probably apply to that version as well, as it looks like more of a spec bump as opposed to a completely different soundbar. I'll be making a review of the new Beam soon, and will let you know how much of an improvement they've made, so look out for that. Aesthetically, I'm a big fan of Bose's slim look and mesh grille. The material they use gives a sleek finish and it helps the bar blend in with its surroundings. Due to the Beam's taller size and darker colour, it has a larger presence on your cabinet. The fabric cloth also creates a more matte finish, which adds to the overall appearance. Out of the three soundbars, it's the only one that can also be purchased in white. When compared with the other two bars, the JBL has a cheaper look and feel due to its less premium plastic design, but I actually don't mind the look. On the rear of the bars, you get a variety of ports. Sonos is the most simple with connection for HDMI ARC, Ethernet and power. Bose has power, IR, bass, optical in, a service port and HDMI ARC. And JBL has power, Ethernet, optical, HDMI in, USB and HDMI ARC. The Sonos Beam and Bose Soundbar 300 are both 3.0 channeled soundbars, whereas they call the JBL a 5.0, but technically it's a 5.0.2, since two of the speakers are upward firing and used when playing Dolby Atmos content. Both Sonos and Bose can be expanded into a larger system by adding a sub and rear speakers, but the JBL doesn't have that flexibility, so make sure you're happy with a standalone speaker if you go down the JBL route. All three of these soundbars can be plugged in via an HDMI ARC or through optical. The Beam and JBL come with included cables, but unfortunately Bose has only put an optical cable in the box. Keep in mind, HDMI ARC is the best connection type to use if your TV supports it. If your TV only has an optical port, then these soundbars will work with that, as they have an auto power feature that will turn the bar on once an audio signal is received. If you're looking to mount one of these on the wall, JBL provides the hardware in the box, but Sonos and Bose sell these separately at a price of $49 for the Beam and $39 for the Soundbar 300. JBL has a nice LED screen on the front to display volume, audio format and which input is selected. Sonos doesn't have a screen, but a single flashing LED on the top to indicate that it's receiving a command, and the Bose has a forward-facing LED, which is much the same as the Sonos. I'm a big fan of a front-facing screen, as it tells you exactly what you need to know and takes away the guesswork of what a single LED is indicating. On the top of each bar is a set of controls. JBL has power on and off, volume and input select. Sonos has volume, play pause, as well as a microphone on and off. Bose only gives you an action button and microphone off. Everything else is controlled through the included remote or app. Bose has a very slim remote that gives you control over power, input select between TV, Bluetooth and Bose Music app, volume, mute and play pause. JBL is very similar but adds an Atmos button so you can toggle the upward firing speakers on or off and also select the HDMI input. Sonos doesn't have a remote but instead uses the S2 app and gives you an audio equalizer of bass and treble, speech enhancement, night mode and volume control. The Bose Music app allows for an equalizer of bass, treble and center channel, a dialogue mode, volume and source select. JBL hasn't made an app for their soundbars, which I discussed in my previous video. JBL doesn't have an app for the soundbar, and I definitely think that that's a cost-saving thing, as it's very expensive to develop a good app. This is one of the ways they've been able to keep it cheaper than other brands on the market. Alexa and Google Assistant are available on the Sonos and Bose soundbars, but JBL doesn't have any voice assistant microphones, so the only way to use Alexa is through another device such as an Echo Dot. All of them have AirPlay and Spotify Connect. The JBL and Bose have Bluetooth, as well as the JBL is the only one to have Chromecast compatibility. A big benefit of going with either Sonos or Bose is for the multi-room audio and the ease of adding other speakers to the system. If that's something you want to get into and you're trying to decide which company to go with, I'd start by having a look at the other speakers they have on offer and trying to figure out which ones you're interested in. This way it'll give you a better idea of which brand to go with. For me personally, I've chosen to go with the Sonos system as it tends to give me a more balanced sound, and I also found the Sonos app easier to navigate. Sonos has got their design process down really well, and I'm a big fan of how their products look and feel. Bose, on the other hand, are lacking in this area on some speakers, and especially since it's such a high price tag, I'd expect more from them. I've installed quite a few Bose Soundbars over the last few years and have had way more issues with speakers disconnecting from the network and struggling to find a sub or rear speakers. Sonos for the most part works straight away and gives me less headaches and callbacks from customers. For the size of these bars, the sound they produce is really impressive. That being said, the JBL has a more rich sound and deeper bass response, which lends itself to being great for movies, especially in the action category. Bose is way more treble heavy, and that's with turning the bass right up. When trawling through Amazon's user reviews, I saw that a lot of people were commenting that they didn't see an improvement over the TV speakers. A big reason for this is TVs don't have a subwoofer, and this is the same issue for the soundbar. I found it didn't give me enough bass, and sometimes the treble was too much and bordering on being painful to listen to. Sonos has a well-balanced sound where it's not as bass heavy as the JBL, but it has a nice tone to it and much easier to listen to than the Bose. All three of them did a great job with dialogue, and that's due to them having a center channel that's dedicated for voices. I'd suggest turning on the speech enhancement for the Beam, but not the Bose, as it's already very treble leaning and doesn't need any extra help in that area. When testing the JBL with Atmos, I didn't hear a great deal of height or surround sound, which to be honest I wasn't expecting, as you can't change the level of upward firing speakers and the overall size of the bar is small. It's a nice addition to the soundbar, but it doesn't make it any better than the others. Music was very similar. Bose is slightly more detailed, but again sometimes it took it too far and stopped becoming enjoyable to listen to. I've heard a lot of people say they like Bose speakers for music, but I felt it didn't give me enough balance between bass and treble. JBL and Sonos were very similar to listen to a wide range of music, and the soundstage was very even between all three. Now here's a sound test so you can hear the difference. So where does this leave us? The JBL 5.0 is the cheaper option and gives you a deeper sound and Dolby Atmos support through the ARC port. It's a great sounding bar that's a plug and play system, and I'd highly recommend it for a bedroom TV. There's no app support, but to be fair, JBL has created this to be a set and forget speaker that's mainly controlled from your TV remote. The Sonos Beam is a really well balanced sound for both music and movies. It includes an easy to use app that allows you to change all the settings, and Sonos has a great track record of supporting its products for a long time. The biggest downside is the lack of Bluetooth support, which makes it more limiting for Android users. The Bose Soundbar 300 is a very stylish speaker that is feature rich and gives detailed sound, but struggles to produce the wide range needed for both movies and music. With that, please let me know in the comments which of these soundbars you're looking at purchasing and whether this video has changed your mind. I've got another big soundbar comparison coming out soon, so feel free to subscribe if that interests you. That's all from me. See you guys soon.